Gotta tell. Come on, you gotta tell a story. This happened outside the garden this very night, tonight. Bill was outside, and I gotta let him tell the story. But it's not the other night or something. It's right now. It was immediate and brief.
I was just, I don't know. Every time we go into a building, maybe it's wrong. We take it very personally. There are certain things we do automatically, even though other people take care of the security and the lights and the sound, whatever. I just have a bad habit of going, you know, around the building and seeing what's going on. So I just happened to be standing out front, and two young ladies walked in, 16, 17 years old, and just they were 10, 12 feet away, and this guy just came along, and one girl had the 2 tickets in her hand. He just, you know, whisked them away from them. He ran down the street, and the girls shrieked, and it's a very bad habit I've had. I don't stop. I get very schizo, and I don't think about the danger. It's not that I'm far from heroic. I think I'm rather cowardly sometimes, but in those moments, I just freak, and this guy started running down the street, and I ran after him, and I caught him at 35th and 8th. When I got there, I sort of landed on his back on one side, and he had the other hand outstretched with the tickets, and I grabbed the ticket hand, and he sort of threw me over his back, and the two of us landed there like two schmucks. We just lying there, and he ran off, and I had the 2 tickets in my hand, and I figured, and I was going to continue to chase, and I said, "The hell," because my pants were ripped, and I got a little banged up. But then you got a lot banged up. But then I came back for the 4 or 5 blocks, and I looked for the girls, and I saw them in front of the buildings, and I said, "Here are the tickets." And the leg was bad enough. The two of them jumped on me for joy, which was more painful than the thing that went down with the guy, and they just got the tickets and went inside. I'm too old for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but they did love you, didn't they? Yeah.
Almost as much damage. Actually, what the end result, Sam, was his leg is all bandaged, and he really took a fall.
Yeah, well, that's promotion in the modern day and age.
Speaking of promotion, Bill, this is your first show back in New York since the closing of the Fillmore. Do you think that possibly we'll see some more Bill Graham productions? No,
it's not. Let's put it this way: there's all this talk, you know, over the years, who owes what to who, and capitalist and rip-off or goodies, and who are the baddies. The Dead and I have been friends for years. They said they were going to play New York. Would you like to do it with us? It's as simple as that. Friends from back home came to New York, to the Big Apple. No, you can't say friendship. I got a better terminology. Let's call it warm animosity. How's that?
Friendly enemies.
The Dead family, you can't live with them, you can't live without them. They're like a pate. Once in a while, you got to have that to find out what good things are all about. You know.
Do you have any observations? I'm sure you do on the whole simulcast situation that we're doing tonight. Do you think it's a good idea and things?
There's no other solution. You could play in a 90,000 people stadium, and nobody would get anything. This way, you're playing to a good-sized house with a good price. And the people that can't get in can hear it. It's the only solution. There is no other. There are records, you know, but for the liveness, short of coming to New York for a month and playing every night to satisfy everybody, this is the best thing you can do. And I think the group's to be commended. I think the stations are to be commended, and I think the record companies to be commended. It's a very good thing.
On all ends, it was a fine job.
Yeah.
How many do you think? A ridiculous question from an Englishman, but I know nothing about American radio stations. How many people do you think conservatively could one say were listening to this at this moment?
Well, we're going door to door right now.
I tell you what, Sam, and I think it's important. The British accent is from Sam Cutler. Actually, and I know the group expressed this, so I'm going to drop this line now and again toward the end of the program. But the Dead would like to hear a comment from the people who had a chance to hear the whole concert tonight uninterrupted, right through the New Riders, right on through to the end. They would really like to hear from everyone who had the opportunity to hear the concert free, so send a postcard or a letter. Now that'll be your answer. I'll say roughly there's 3 to 5 million now as a bottom line.
Yeah.
As a bottom line.
I don't know what we're going to do with the 3 or 5 million letters.
We'll give them all a sticker.
Right.
No, send them on film.
No, but I'm really serious, and they did say they wondered if the people really appreciated it, And I think a way to find out is to ask them if you do appreciate what's happening tonight, uninterrupted, doing a thing, right on, and with the most magnificent mix and sound that you people, the Dead, have put together, and the whole thing. And the problems that we had before, behind the scenes, most listeners are not aware of, but trying to get it together, to pull it off with a telephone strike, with all sorts of other things, to have it come off in not that much notice was miraculous. And to hear the sound, as we've been doing, is...
I'm also impressed by the lack of advertisements. In England, of course, there is no commercial radio as such, so one is lulled into, an uninterrupted sequence of radio programming, and it's really nice to see that, just once in a while. It's an expensive luxury, as we all know, but once in a while it's really nice to see open air time that's devoted to one thing in depth, without commercial interruption.
John, the Grateful Dead have been doing live concerts for a long time, live simulcast. How long ago did they start?
Let's see, I guess it started about a year and a half ago at Winterland when we did a radio television, quadraphonic radio and television color simulcast.
Is that the one with the airplane?
Yeah, right. And then there was one after that on New Year's that was also live in Los Angeles and San Francisco, Those were the first ones we did with those two there. They were very good. They had their bugs in them, but they were very good. They were excellent. So then we got the idea of alleviating some of the problems on the road with playing in... We don't like to play in huge halls, because the sound's not at its best. So, but if you play in small halls and you overdraw the hall, you have problems outside. But if you have a simulcast, everybody gets to hear the music, and the people here get to hear it live and in the hall, so it works out very well.
I think it's a good idea, and I think that they should, if you really appreciate what's happening tonight as listeners out there, to do a card to the Grateful Dead at WNEW-FM in New York, just a card saying thank you, and a one-word comment, what you thought about it, heavy, great, whatever, do it, and we'll take the bags of mail.
This is WNEW-FM in New York, Metro Media Stereo at 102.7. This is Dennis Elsis. We're back at the studio, and we're awaiting to return to the Garden live for the continuation of the Grateful Dead concert. Just a recap in case you tuned in late tonight. We started off at 8, and we heard the New Riders of the Purple Sage for about an hour and 20 minutes or so, and then we had about a 15 or 20-minute break, and then the Grateful Dead set Part 1. You were listening to an interview before conducted by Scott Muni and Mike Klemfner with some of the people that surround the Dead, Sam Cutler and Rock Scully and Bill Graham and a whole bunch of other people. And we are awaiting within moments to return for the Grateful Dead concert Part 2. Again, it's coming to you live over WNEW-FM in New York.
You're the same old